Grades. They are just a number or letter, but they mean so much more. They measure your performance in school, but do they determine your future? Intelligence is the ability to take in and use knowledge. Grades, however, only measure 2 of the 6 types of intelligence: linguistic and logical mathematical. This becomes problematic when you consider some of the other things people think grades measure. In our society, the power of grades in school is so strong that many students believe that their grades will affect who they become in the future.
That stress has definitely affected my grades, just because all the stress really gets me distracted from school, which doesn't help at all. So stress is definitely affecting my grades in a bad way. So I believe that I need to lower my stress for my grades to keep on going up.
Stress definitely affects me because at times we have a large amount of projects and homework, and it's really stressful for our kids to try to keep up on everything and balance all their other activities and the homework.
I believe that stress affects me in school and out of school because schoolwork, it's always on my mind. I'm always thinking about it. I'm always worrying about how am I going to do how am I going to do it.
Question. I think grades do affect your future, definitely, because it's a kind of a quantitative way to describe someone based on what they understood or how they performed in a subject. So does it necessarily instill the qualities you need to interact with people, have good group work skills? Not necessarily, but it is kind of like the determining factor whether you'll get a chance into doing something, for instance, getting into teacher's college or university.
For me, I think I was okay. I mean, if I had better grades, I don't think I'd be in any better position, really. I mean, I did what I needed to do to get myself into school, to finish school. If I did really well, I mean, then I probably would have taken maybe a different career path, but I knew what I wanted to do, so I didn't want to get into like an MBA program or do my PhD, and that's where grades are really affected. So as long as you know specifically what you're doing and you can attain that goal, I think it's okay.
Oh, grades are going to affect everything in my future, because with the grades I'm going to be able to get into certain schools that I want, and those schools will decide what I'm going to do in my future. So grades are huge when it comes to your future, just because they're deciding what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
I believe that grades are being more emphasized in society because people are always opinionating based off grades and not on who you are and how what you can bring to the table as your specialities.
Why? I think grades are emphasized a little bit too much because by sending report cards home, people mainly focus on what you do bad and they can't see what your strengths are. For example, if you're doing really good in art, but you're doing bad in math, people tend to think more on what you're doing bad and that you need to be good at.
Absolutely, and I think especially students, and I totally understand why, but students are so ingrained to just want that level 8 IB or get a 90 or a 95, whereas it should be more so looking at evaluating the process and what you learn from it, and what you can improve on. We can't always expect perfection from anyone, really, so I think maybe taking a more descriptive approach to evaluating instead of just being so numerical. So maybe if that involves maybe having tasks that are descriptively evaluated and numerically evaluated. We do try to do that in teaching, but I do understand that grades are definitely a big part of how you interpret your success.
Okay, well, I think that's actually a very good question because I think we can look at it two different ways. When you want to measure success, as in applying to a university, universities will look at your grades. So obviously your grades are important if you want to pursue higher education, post-secondary education. Your personal average will play a serious role, as most of the universities are looking for an 80% average or higher, and some of the Ivy League school even higher than 85 or 90%. So it does play a specific role. It does cause a lot of stress. Our students are very much focused on achievement, and they are very grade oriented. So being successful and getting good grades is actually quite important. Does it measure success of a human being and a person in society? Absolutely not. It is a portion of success. It's a portion of someone being successful, and it shows that the person is accomplished and had was successful at studying and academic success. On the other hand, there are people who probably struggled right through high schools, never really had great marks, average, maybe C's and even D's, and go on to be quite successful. Whether they're entrepreneurs, they have a strong business sense, they can be quite successful. So no, it doesn't always measure success. Success can be measured many, many different ways. But there's also the flip side. There are students who really struggle in high school, don't get very good grades, and really struggle to find employment as well. So I think intent is very important, and how a student or a person develops and decides to use his or her gifts and attributes that they already have. That can be a real measure of success.
Grades do not represent a measure of a student's intelligence, capabilities, talents, potential, character, or worth. Getting good grades in class is focused more on what you memorize so that you can do well on tests. Someone may be good at art but bad at math. This doesn't mean that they are less intelligent, it just means that they have different strengths. Different student circumstances can also have huge impacts on their grades. Grades may reflect your ability to achieve in a classroom environment, but they will never reflect your ability to succeed. All they show is that you did what the system wanted. Being good in school doesn't mean you will have a one-way ticket to success. All of these people were incredibly successful, but they did poorly in school. Sometimes the system just doesn't work for you, and you are better on your own. Grades don't mean everything. You still need determination, passion, and many other qualities to succeed. At the end of the day, remember, you are not your grades.